It's 30,000 years ago. You're standing in waist-high grass, and you are hungry. Not, I skipped lunch, hungry. Real hungry. There's no fridge, no store, no farm. Farms won't exist for another 20,000 years. Everything you eat today, you have to find, catch, dig up, or climb for. And here's the wild part. You're actually pretty good at this. Your name is, well, we don't know your name. So let's call you Juniper. And Juniper is about to show us how humans fed themselves for 95% of our existence without growing a single crop. So, question 1. What was actually on the menu? If you're picturing cavemen dragging a mammoth home every night, I get it. That's the poster. That's the movie version. But most days looked a lot less dramatic. For most hunter-gatherers, a huge share of daily calories came from gathering, not hunting. Roots, tubers, berries, nuts, seeds, shellfish if you lived near water, eggs if you got lucky, honey if you were brave. Think of it this way. Hunting was the lottery ticket. Gathering was the salary. The meat was amazing when it came. Huge payout, everybody eats, big celebration. But the roots and berries? That's what kept you alive on a random Tuesday. That's basically the Stone Age version of keeping your day job while you wait for your band to get famous. And gathering wasn't mindless picking. Juniper carries a digging stick, one of humanity's most underrated inventions. Just a strong, sharpened stick for prying tubers out of hard ground. Not glamorous, absolutely essential. The spear gets the fan art. The digging stick did the work. Okay, question 2. When they did hunt, how did they actually catch anything? Because let's be honest about the matchup here. Humans are slow. We have no claws. Our teeth are, frankly, embarrassing. A deer can outrun you without trying. So, how did soft, slow, clawless Juniper ever eat meat? 3 words: brains, teamwork, and sweat. First, the sweat. And this one's genuinely amazing. Humans are weirdly good at one physical thing, not overheating. We sweat better than almost any animal on Earth. So, one hunting method, many scientists think it goes way back, though they still argue about how common it was persistence hunting. You don't outrun the antelope. You outwalk it, it sprints away, overheats, has to stop, and pant. You just keep coming, slow, steady, relentless. Hours of this. Eventually, the animal is too exhausted to run. It's the least cinematic hunt imaginable, and it worked. That's basically the Stone Age version of winning by being the last one at the gym. Second, teamwork. Humans hunted in groups, with plans. Drive animals toward an ambush, toward a cliff, into a marsh where they get stuck. Set traps and snares and come back later, which is honestly genius because a trap hunts for you while you nap. And by tens of thousands of years ago, humans had real gear. Spears, spear throwers that made a throw dramatically more powerful, and eventually the bow. Every generation, the toolkit got a little smarter. Which brings us to question 3. And this one's sneaky hard. How did they know what was safe to eat? Because here's the thing. Nature doesn't tell you. Some berries are lunch, and some berries are the last mistake you'll ever make. Some plants are fine raw. Some are poisonous until you cook or soak them. And there's no label, no app, no, is this mushroom okay, search bar. The answer is that every band of humans carried around an invisible library. Grandparents taught parents, parents taught kids. This plant, in this season, prepared this way. Which valley has water in the dry months, when the salmon run, where the bees nest? Anthropologists who've studied recent hunter-gatherer groups found their environmental knowledge is staggering. Hundreds of plant species, animal behavior, weather patterns, all memorized. Nothing written down. Losing an elder really was like losing a library. And that knowledge was the actual survival tool, not the spear, the knowing. A human dropped alone in the wilderness with no knowledge, in serious trouble. A human raised inside that library, They look at a landscape and see a supermarket. That's basically the Stone Age version of inheriting the family recipe book. Except the recipes keep you alive. Last question, the scary one. What happened when the food ran out? Because it did, seasons turned, herds moved, droughts hit, and Juniper's people had answers for that too. Answer 1. Move. This is the superpower of not owning much. When your whole home packs up and walks, you follow the food. Rivers in fishing season, groves when nuts drop, the herds when they migrate. Many groups moved in smart, seasonal loops, hitting each food source right on time. Less aimless wandering, more well-rehearsed tour schedule. Answer 2. Share. This might be the most human thing on the list. In hunter-gatherer groups, when someone lands a big kill, the meat gets shared out across the camp. Why? Partly because meat spoils fast and nobody has a freezer, but also because sharing is insurance. Today you feed me, next month I feed you. Nobody wins every day. Everybody eats anyway. That's basically the Stone Age version of splitting the bill. Forever. With everyone. And it's how you survive. Answer 3. Save. Where the climate allowed it, people did store food, drying meat and fish, stashing nuts, and in cold regions, letting winter itself be the freezer. So, pull it all together, and finding food before farming turns out to be the wrong picture entirely. It wasn't desperate scavenging, it was a system. Deep plant knowledge, clever cooperative hunting, seasonal movement timed like clockwork, and a sharing economy tough enough to survive bad luck. In fact, some scientists argue that many hunter-gatherers worked fewer hours to feed themselves than early farmers did, though that one's still debated, and life was hard in plenty of other ways. But Juniper went to bed fed tonight, no farm required. Here's what I keep chewing on though. If gathering, sharing, and moving worked for hundreds of thousands of years, why did anyone ever settle down and start farming? Trading the whole system for one patch of dirt and a lot more work? Genuinely, what would convince you to make that trade? Drop your theory in the comments, because that's exactly where we're going next time. Why humans invented farming, and why some scientists call it the biggest gamble our species ever made. See you there.